Hello YouTubers, Jim from Ohio here. Wanted to give another quick update on my solar project and the control panel board that I've been putting together over the last few weeks. I know during my last video I talked about the input side of this grid tie inverter with limiter, and I mentioned that I would during the next video talk about the output side where it feeds into the grid. I'm going to hold off and do a video on that later on. You can see that I do have some components in here that are up and running, but I'm missing some components over here. One of the items that I received from China didn't work the way that I wanted it to, so I've got another one on order. And I'd rather wait and show that in one setting along with a wiring diagram for how to wire all of this together. So I'll hold off and do another video once I have all of the parts, but you can see that I do have the inverter powered on, and it's currently showing error status of voltage too low, and that's because I don't have my solar panels connected to this yet. It's still cold here in Ohio, the ground's frozen. We've had a lot of rain over the last few days, so it's going to be a while before I'm going to be able to build my racks and get the panels mounted. So a couple of things that I've done over the last week. I know I showed this piece of conduit in my last video. What I did was I did add another wire going into that conduit for this box right here. The MPP 2400, this is I think an MPP 2424 model inverter with battery backup. It requires different types of power. It requires an input from solar, an input from battery, and two inputs from the grid. One is the power coming out of it going to the grid, and the other power is what's coming from the grid into this for charging batteries when solar power is not available. It does require a 40 amp circuit over in my circuit breaker panel, and so I added that 40 amp breaker, and then I added another wire into the conduit going up feeding this, and you can see on the bottom where the inputs are. Here's the 40 amp circuit. This is the 20 amp circuit that will be out of the inverter into the grid. This is a ground bus bar. I've got all my equipment grounded to the same common ground, and then this will be the solar input. I haven't started working on my battery bank yet. I do have batteries available, but that's another project down the road. But in addition, over this last week, what I did was I wired the input side of this the same that I did over there. So this is where the solar panel power will come in. It'll be connected to these two lugs. This is simply a quick disconnect box, and same thing you would get for an air conditioner, your outdoor unit or heat pump. So the incoming solar will be connected here when I'm ready to do that, and then this is out of this box. It simply goes behind my backer board and then comes down and comes in here where this will be my breaker, 20 amp breaker for the panels. From here it goes over to the surge protection device. So if any surges come in from the solar panels, a lightning strike nearby, this is where it will go, and this will hopefully protect the device and send the surge to ground. So you can see my ground cable coming out here, and that simply goes over to this ground bus bar, which is connected directly into my breaker panel, the common ground for the house. So the other side of the circuit breaker here simply comes out the bottom, it goes back behind, and then it comes out underneath here, and this is where the two cables coming from the solar panels are going up into the inverter. So that's what I've got going on this week. Sometime over the next week I'm hoping that I get the rest of the parts for this, and then I'll do a wiring diagram and have it available for download in case anybody wants to do the same thing that I'm doing. Otherwise, I've got my battery bank I need to start working on. I think the first thing I'll need to do is build some shelves down below that the batteries will sit on, and still have a long way to go, lots to do. And then I'm hoping that the weather breaks sometime soon so that I can get my panels at least up and start running the cable. I'm real anxious to get this up and running, and I can't really do anything without those panels on the poles out there. So that's where we are with this. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, post them down below, and watch for another update here in the upcoming weeks. Thanks a lot. Take care. Have a good week.